Okay, we're going to demonstrate how to use a display in circuitry. And there's a lot of connections we have to make to get a display. But I'm going to show you all. First, we need a display. So let's go search for it. Now, there's actually two displays. And I'll show you the one that we actually need. Here are the two displays. Show you what they look like. Okay. And the one that we're going to use is the standard one, which is this guy right here. So we're going to get rid of this one with all the ground things on the side here. Get rid of that. And we'll just be using this one. Okay, now we need to go get the Arduino board. So let's go back here. Arduino, right here. And we'll be controlling everything. Also need a breadboard, because I'm going to use about two components. One of the two components I'm going to use for the that'll be on the breadboard will be the I need a potentiometer. There's one. Let's put that in and let's put that close to the middle here. And I'll need also a resistor. I'll get the resistor later. Okay, but this basically I need the board for those two pieces. All the connectors, you have a bunch of connections here to make. Let's start off with all the connectors that need negative power. And I think there are three of them that need negative power. So let's go get those. So make sure this is black. Okay, the first one that needs negative power is, of course, the ground right here. So we're going to give him negative power. Oh, you know something? Let me make this whole row negative here. So right here, let's go down here. Let's go to ground here. And a wire here, go up here and there, and I'm gonna clean up my wiring, square it off. Okay, and now all this is negative power. Let's make all this down here positive power. So let's turn this into red. Let's go from the 5 volt down here, there, there, and there, and let's make sure all this is squared off. Oh, looks good. Okay. All right. So now we got all negative power here and all positive power here, which is great. All right. Now let's supply some negative power to this guy. There's about 3 that need negative power. First, the ground. He needs negative power. So let's go to black and get him some negative power here. Let's click here, wire there. Let's go out here, and then go down here. Let's stop about here. And then connect that guy right there, and he has positive power. The next, negative power. The next one that needs negative power is our RW. The RW, which is right there. Okay, the read write. He needs negative power as well. So let's connect to here. Let's zoom out a little bit. RW here. Cut this little corner there. Next corner there, and he now has negative power. Let's make sure these are squared off nicely. Okay. The third one that needs negative power is our LED. We have 2 LEDs. This LED is anode, so he's positive power. This LED is cathode, so he's negative power, so he needs negative power as well. So let's go get him some negative power. Zoom out a little bit and collect here, go up about here to the corner, down here, and then cut over here. And just dealing with wire management. I did a pretty good job. Okay, everything's nice 90-degree angles here. Okay, so that's all the negative power. Now let's deal with the positive power. I think there's 2 that need positive power. First, it's the VCC. Okay, I'll show you what that looks like. The VCC right here, he needs positive power, 5 volts. So let's get him 5 volts. Let's back out a little bit. A little bit more. A little bit more. And let's go get him 5 volts. Let's change this to red. And power here. Let's go up here. cut this corner there, cut that corner there, and positive power. Okay. Hey, I'm doing pretty good on my angles here today. Alright, not a lot of cleanup that needs to be done. Okay, who else needs positive power? My LED, my other LED. This LED right here, which is an anode, he needs positive power. And let's see, I think he needs 5 volts. Yeah, he does need 5 volts, but I think his voltage needs to be managed with a resistor. So we're not going to put him directly into 5 volts. He needs to be managed with a resistor. So let's do this. Let's go here. Let's see, there we go. And instead of connecting him directly, we're going to stop here, and we're going to go to this guy right here, right about here. And we need to give this guy the 5 volts with a resistor. So let's go here, grab a resistor, put it between here, the positive power here, and that'll give it to him. But this resistor needs to be about 220 ohms, and right now it's set at 1 ohm, or sorry, 1,000 ohms. So let's just go to a regular ohm, and then make it 220. Okay, so this power is being managed by this resistor for the LEDs. Okay, and the LEDs really do need resistors because they don't need that much current. So we're just slowing down the current right here so we don't break our component here, because all the lights and everything is based on LEDs here. Okay, I think that is it for the positive power. Now let's start getting information out of the Arduino into this guy. Okay, so let's start off with the VO. Okay, all right, VO right here, the contrast. Contrast is going to basically come from the potentiometer, and which is right here. So we need to get a connection for the potentiometer for the contrast. What controls the potentiometer is this guy in the middle right here, the wiper. So we need to connect this wiper to the contrast. So since this is all information, I'm just going to use other colors. Let's go with orange, and let's go here. Let's go up a little higher. How high do we need to go? About right there. Okay. Down here, and we're gonna go stop about here, and then we're gonna go to the potentiometer. This guy right there in the middle. Okay. All right. So that'll be for the control. Now the potentiometer also needs power. So we got terminal 1 and terminal 2. That's for your positive and negative power. So we got control to the board right here using the wiper cable. And let's give him some positive power. So let's go to red and connect this little piece right here down to the positive power. And then let's go to black wires and connect the terminal 2 here. This wire's in the way. It's okay. We'll connect him down to the negative. Oh, I need to make him red. Alright, so now he has this positive power on terminal 1, his negative power on power 2, and then the control piece, which is the wiper, will be through the little yellow wire here, which is going up to the contrast. It'll control the fading right there. Let's go further. The connections, RS will be our next one. RS, we're going to connect that to pin 12, be controlled by pin 12. So RS, let's go to another color, or we use orange, let's go to yellow. So RS will go to pin 12. So let's go up here, and there's pin 12 right there. Let's see if we can go down and get it. There we go. Let's straighten this up a little bit. There we go. All right. Now, the next one, let me see, we got R, S. The next one is E. we're gonna make that pin 11 to control that one. So let's go to the next color, green, and E will be controlled by pin. Oops, why is that green? I'll change him later. This will be pin 11. Got him. Let's change this to yellow. Yeah, we need these different colors so we keep up. And then I'm going to make this a nice 90-degree angle. There we go. Looks good. All right. Next one is our BD0. We're going to leave BD0 to BD3 all blank. We're not going to use any of these right here. So we'll start with BD4. BD4, we're going to connect him to pin 5. Let's connect him to pin 5. Let's change color. Let's go to turquoise and BD4 or DB4. Let's get him going. Let's go a little lower here. Let's connect him to pin 5. About here. Yeah. There we go. Square that off. Nice. DB5. Let's put him on pin 4 and just kind of keep going backwards. We'll just keep going back here until we use up all these. So let's go to a new color, blue, and DB5. Let's go over here, and right about there. That'll be 4, and then we'll square this off. Okay, good. And DB6. Let's use that wiring purple, and we'll go to 3. I believe, yeah, let's put 3 on here. Let's see here, I'm going a little lower here. Oh, it's purple as well. I don't want purple. I'll change the color. 3. Let's change that color to pink. And there we go. All right. So, and then for our DB7, we'll make that, I believe, 2. Yeah, we'll make that 2. So let's change that color to brown and wire up here, here, and right about there, and 2, and let's square that off. There we go. And I think that's squared off. Okay, so those are, I think, just about all our connections from this guy right here, from the display. Now let's make sure our potentiometer looks good. That looks good. I'm going to pull this wire down. I just don't feel comfortable with that sitting out there like that. Okay. And this one as well. Pull him down, square him off. Okay, just wire management. Okay, that looks really good. Okay, I think everybody is in place. All the wiring is done. Okay, oh, let me square this off as well. Sorry, it just bothers me. Okay, there you go. Square this one off as well. That doesn't look square to me. Okay, says it is. Okay. All right, there we go. Wiring is done. Now, let's deal with the programming. Go to code, and we're going to use the OnStart and the forever. I don't need all this, so let's just throw all this away. And go to control and get a new forever, blank forever. Okay, and let's pull this out a little bit. Okay. On the start, what we're going to do is that we need to basically get a output. Tell it that we want output to this little display here. And there is a, yeah, I think it's here right here. The configure for the LCD is right here. We need to configure it and make sure that the program knows that we're using this particular one right here. So configure at the start and tell it that we're using the standard. So it knows that we're using standard. And now it needs to know what the pins are going to the Arduino. The RS was going to pin 12. E was going to pin 11. The DB4, I think that was going to pin 5. DB5 was going to pin 4. DB6 was going to pin 3. And the DB7 was going to pin 2. Okay, so now we've kind of we're configuring everything for this screen right there. Next, now that it's configured, we want to make sure the screen is blank. So let's clear the screen. So let's grab this LCD right here. This will clear it up. So when it goes through this will make sure it's connected properly, and this will make sure the screen is clear. So if there's anything on the screen, it's going to wipe it out. Programming it to do stuff. Let's do that. Let's start off with set position. You got to tell it where to start. Let me show you. Okay, the screen has rows and columns. Okay, and we're going to tell it where to start. I want to start right at row 1, column 1. So the way that we get it to do that is set position on the LCD. So let's grab this guy. So these are the instructions. I want to start column 0 and row 0. Sorry, it doesn't start at 1. It calls the first column 0, calls the first row 0. Okay, we got that. And then once it gets there, what I wanted to do is I wanted to print a message for us. Print to LCD right here. And I wanted to print the words welcome students. Okay. Then I want to go to the next row, so we need another one of these set positions. Set position. I want to go to the next row, so we'll call that row 1. And I want to put another message. So let's grab this guy again, print to the LCD, and I want the message this time to be circuitry. Okay, I think these are all good. Yeah, I think this is all we need. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of the code and start simulation and see if it works. Now, the screen is turning on, but we don't see anything. We'll have to control the contrast. So let's go to the potentiometer and just kind of wind this around and see. And oh, there we go. See how the potentiometer kind of straightens out the screen. Welcome students to circuitry. Good job.